Hello guys, and welcome to Met's Beamer. Today I had the great opportunity to film my good friend Alexander's 2016 Mk3 Skoda Octavia Active, finished in candy white. I filmed a Mk3, which is also known as the A7, a few years ago, but it was a facelifted version with the funny headlights. I'll leave a link to that video down below. In this video, I won't do the history of the Mk3 Skoda Octavia, as I have already covered it in the facelifted A7 video. This video will have a few chapters, which I will timestamp down below. Let's start with the front of the car. This was the first Octavia to feature the brand new style logo, which is finished in chrome and black. It really does lift up the brand and make it look more modern. The grille is big, and in my opinion, it really does suit the car. I don't know why though, it reminds me of a cartoon cat head. I personally think though, that the plastic would look a lot better in gloss black. The headlights in this car look a lot better than the facelifted version, in my opinion. I remember seeing the facelifted version in St. Moritz back in 2017, and I thought they were trying too hard to be a Mercedes. These are the basic halogen variant. Moving on down to the left hand side of the numplate, you have the hidden towing eye location, just behind this colour coded circle. In my opinion, the lower spec variant's lower grille on this car is quite plain, and only the later ones have some flair to it. You can see where the fog lights would go on the higher models. Moving around to the front wheels, these are the 15-inch steel wheels fitted with Sidus hubcaps. They are wrapped in 195/65 Michelin energy savers, which supposedly help with fuel economy. Behind the steel wheels, you have ventilated disc brakes and McPherson strut suspension with lower triangle links and torsion stabilizer. This car also has mud flaps on the front and back. This car also has ABS. Moving up, this car has a coefficient drag of 0.288. This is helped by the hidden windscreen wipers and jet washers. There is a place to help display your parking tickets. Here is the aftermarket alarm light. I quite like the design of the door mirrors. They are half colour coded, electronically adjustable and heated. They also have built-in indicators. The trim around the window is in matte black, while the B pillars are in gloss black. The windows have a factory tint to them, which seems to be green. The door handles in this car are all colour coded, and they have a really nice feel to them. They feel very solid. In fact, they feel more solid than my BMW 1 Series. The car has a ground clearance of 155mm, a length of 4,659mm, a width of 1,814mm, and a height of 1,461mm. This car has a curb weight of roughly 1.2 tons, which is quite light these days. Behind this little door is the fuel cap. To open, just push it in and it will pop out. On the door, you have the recommended tyre pressures and fuel. There is usually an ice scraper located here too, but it's missing. This car has a 50-litre tank. To close the door, you just need to push it in so it clicks into place. The rear wheels are the same size as the front ones, which means this car has a square setup. The rear brakes are solid discs, and suspension is a torsion beam setup, as are those on other Octavia models with under 150 brake horsepower. Heading around to the back of the car, we have a third level brake light up top. Moving on down, we have the heated rear window. I like the rear taillights in this car, very clear and easy to understand. They also remind me of the Mk2 Skoda Octavia. I am very sure that my friend Stephen from the YouTube channel Carspy TV will let me know his opinion, as he is very knowledgeable when it comes to the Mk2 Skoda Octavia. On the boot lid, we have the modern Skoda logo. You have the Skoda wording on the left hand side, and to the right hand side you have the Octavia badge. On the rear bumper you have the rear reflectors, as well as a towing eye cover, which is square. I am very happy to see that this car has no sunroof. Now, let's have a look inside the car. Here is the key, which is a switchblade key. At the bottom, you have the unlock button. At the top is the lock button. And in the center, the boot release. Once again, the newer logo. By opening the driver's door and pulling on the well-made handle, you are greeted with a very nicely made VAG group interior. We have to remind ourselves that this car here is a base spec model, and I am very impressed with what it has. On the top of the soft touch dashboard, we have the vents, which blow towards the side windows and also the windscreen. Along the front edge of the dash, you will see that there are 4 adjustable air vents with gloss black surrounds, chrome detailings on the directional controls, and the scroll wheel is rubberized. Between the 2 center air vents, there is a passenger airbag display and the hazard switch. Moving on down a bit more, we have the base 6-button multimedia system with a 5-inch screen. I will make a special section to give a very quick overview. It reminds me of the system on the base Mk3 Golf. Just below the multimedia system, you have 6 buttons, though one is a blank. At both ends, we have the 3-stage heated seats. There is also an air conditioning button, a rear heated window button, and the air recirculation button. Underneath these buttons, you are greeted with the air conditioning controls. They look the part with their chrome detailing, but they do feel a bit cheap. The left wheel controls the temperature. The center wheel controls the 6-speed fan, and the wheel on the right hand side is the zone control. Moving on down, you have the USB and auxiliary port, which works nicely with the multimedia system. At the bottom, we have a nice storage area, which fits my iPhone nicely. It is also rubberized, which gives it grip. Just in front of the storage space, there is a space for 5 buttons. This car only has 2 buttons though. The central locking button and the car's ASR off button, which turns the traction control on and off. Skoda calls this system anti-slip regulation. This car has a nice 5-speed manual transmission. I really do love the manual VAG cars. To put this car into reverse, you need to first of all push down on the gear stick while shifting the gear knob as far to the left as possible and moving forward, and voila, you have reverse. This car here has a cigarette lighter, which is also a 12-volt power point. There are some cup holders that suit different sized cups or cans. I'm also happy to see that this car has a classic style handbrake. I do miss these on newer cars. Since this car is the base model known as the Active, it comes with an aftermarket central armrest storage area. This is what lets the car down in my opinion. Moving up to the main controls, the steering wheel on this car is quite attractive for a standard wheel with no buttons. You have to push the airbag to activate the horn. This car has electric power steering, unlike the Mk2 which had hydraulic power steering. The instrument cluster is easy to read, and I like the chrome detailing. It gives it an upmarket feel to it. To the left are the rev counter and temperature gauges. In the centre is the onboard computer, and to the right is the speedometer and the fuel gauge. The big button at the bottom resets the trip mileage. The left stalk is for the indicators and light controls, while the right stalk controls the wipers, and the button on the end of the stalk controls the trip computer in the centre. Let's quickly pop open the door so I can film down here. Here are the main light controls. This switch here controls the angle of the beam for the headlights. There is also a little cubbyhole down here. This car has an adjustable steering column, which you need to push this lever down here to allow you to move it. And when you finish with it, you'll push it up into place. This allows you to adjust the height and rake. Here is the car's ignition switch, which is a nice feature from the past. Heading over to the door, you will find the mirror controls. It acts as a joystick as well as a selector between the mirrors and the on and off switch for the heated mirrors. This car has electric windows up front, but these are not the one-touch version. Let's slightly open the door again and look at the other aspects of the door. Up in the A-pillar area, we have a speaker. The interior door handle is chrome and feels pleasant to use. As you can see, this car has grey trim. There is a mixture of hard and soft plastics on this door. The lined door pockets on this car are of a nice big size. There is also another speaker down here and a reflector, which is great in the dark for safety reasons. Before we leave this area, here is the bonnet release. Up top, the sun visors are of a nice quality. They have a clip to hold your cards and a vanity mirror for both the driver and passenger, so you can both look great together. The interior grab handles up top are soft closing, and up front you also have the interior lighting controls, including matte reading lights. This car also has a standard rearview mirror. The seats are in black and they are very comfortable. You can adjust them forward and backwards. You can adjust the height and also the recline position. Let's pop around to the passenger side. The passenger's door only gets one switch, and that is for the window. The glove box is a pleasant size and feels pleasant to use. Up top, you can see where the owner's instruction manual and service pack are stored. Also, you can turn on and off the passenger's airbag using this key slot down here. The passenger does not have height control on their seat. Popping into the back seats. Here is where the rear door child lock is located. A speaker is located next to the chrome door handle. There is also storage and keep fit windows. You will see that the windows go all the way down, which is something I like. Here I'm just showing you the rear seat room. Don't forget, I'm a 6 foot tall, balding, 110 kilogram lump, and this fits me nicely. Nice knee room and headroom. But remember, I have no hair to mess up. The front seat is in my driving position. Here is another view of the front dash from the rear. These seats don't have rear seat pockets, but I presume higher trim levels will get them. The winter rubberized floor mats are from Skoda, which are quite nice, and I also like the pattern, which reminds me of the rear taillights for some reason. On the B-pillar is a little close hook, and there is another one located next to the rear soft closing handle grabs. The plastics do feel a bit cheaper in the back, but it's the same with the Mk3 Golf 2. The rear roof interior lighting. In the back are also 3 full working seat belts and ISOFIX points for those who want to attach their child seats. To drop the 60/40 rear folding seats, you need to push this button down in here, and it will allow the seat to be folded as shown. When pushing the rear seats up, this little red zone here needs to disappear. To open the boot, you can use the key or push the boot release just here. As you can see, the luggage space is massive. With the seats up, the boot space is 590 litres. With the seats folded down, it has 1,580 litres of space. Up on the hatch, we have a rubber strap to help you pull the boot closed. You also get a parcel shelf and many tethering points. A warning triangle is hidden just here, and in the boot you get a full-size tyre and toolkit. It's wonderful seeing this on a newer car. I really think that all new cars should have this feature. Before we look under the bonnet, let's have a look at the base spec infotainment system, which I believe is called Swing in the Skoda world. If you want to see it in more detail than this, I would recommend that you check out my other video involving the facelifted Skoda Octavia. At the moment, it is turned off, hence why you can only see the clock. The way you can turn this on is by pushing on the on switch. Automatically, we are in the radio settings, but I quickly want to change this car into English mode. Right. Back to the radio. It has memory settings for each station. It has touchscreen. You can also select the station by pushing the arrows up top. You can change the frequency type, manually select the station, add radio text, the radio settings. Media lets you choose between USB, SD card and auxiliary, and another setting menu. Mute turns the sound off. Up top you have the time and the exterior temperature. Heading into the setup menu, it takes you to all of the settings. Sound allows you to change the sound of the speakers and the computer and warning sounds too. Screen setting allows you to alter all the screen settings. As well as all this, you can adjust the time and date settings, languages, the type of keyboard, and as you can see, there is a lot of things you can change. The sound button is another shortcut into the sound settings. And car, this is my favourite area. It gives you reports on the vehicle status. The owner did actually change the oil before this video, but unfortunately the dealership didn't reset the computer. It also needs its windscreen washer fluid to be topped up. I will make some DIY videos on how to do all this sort of stuff. This car also gives you driving data, such as the trip stats, how much energy your car is using up by using things such as air conditioning. Also, this car has a menu which allows you to change the vehicle settings like tyre sensors, light settings, mirrors, wipers, locking and unlocking and so on. It's a very cool system. Let's pop open the bonnet and have a look. This car here is the petrol 1.6 MPI 4-cylinder engine, which is coupled up to the 5-speed manual gearbox, which makes it a little quicker than the automatic. This little 1598cc 16-valve inline-4 transversely fitted lump sends its power to the front wheels. 0 to 100 km per hour or 0 to 62 miles per hour is about 10.8 seconds, while the automatic version would take 12.2 seconds. It has a top end speed of 191 km per hour, which is 118 miles per hour, which won't set the world on fire, but it does the job. It has a max torque reading of 155 Newton meters at 3,800 revs per minute. This car, according to Skoda, will do 33 miles per gallon around town, 54 miles per gallon on the run, and a mixed reading of 44 miles per gallon. Now, let's start it up and hear a purr. I hope this video was of some use to you. If you like in-depth tours, be sure to subscribe. The cars I can film can be so random. Also, I will make some DIY videos on this car, so if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, share and like. Thank you and goodbye.